The Woodrow Wilson Foundation started working with the universities a few years ago with the intention of changing the way we prepare education leaders and putting them through a traditional MBA program, because they think that there are some leadership skills that are in an MBA program that can be useful to any organization, especially school leaders.
I have to admit, a few of us were skeptical as to how this was going to come together, the integration of both the educational world and the business world, because many of us had a strong belief that education wasn't run much like a business, when in fact we found out it was.
I came to realize that what they were really trying to accomplish was to give educational leaders a different perspective, a different insight to being a leader and managing schools a little bit more effectively.
I never wanted to be a principal, so the thing that got me into this was that they said, you'll be a principal, but you'll be a different kind of principal.
I wanted a different lens to view my school.
So we just graduated our first cohort a few weeks ago, and it really felt like we saw evidence that their thinking has changed, their patterns of thinking, the way they look at things and the way they take action.
A lot of the courses that we took gave us a different perspective in how we look at things.
The coursework really stretched our thinking about problems and opportunities that we have in education.
It's not about applying business systems to the school. It's not about fixing kids. It's about fixing the structures in order to support our teachers and therefore our students.
It was a tough process, but it's an incredibly useful process. We've gained so much insight into looking at education through a different lens.
It's allowed me to look at the systems within the school to see what's working, to see what's not working.
What we are trying to accomplish here is trying to give educators new tools. So we know that they come in as very strong instructional leaders, but we also know that sometimes they're missing these other tools. And we're just trying to broaden what a leader can bring to the table in terms of both the analytics and also just the how do you motivate and lead people towards change.
One of the things that's really changed in my life is that I came into this program with 19 years of educational experience, from regular ed, special ed, being an instructional specialist. When I came here, I had my educational tool belt, and I had my certain set of tools that I would favor and I'd use all the time. When I started the MBA program, I learned that there were other tools out there that I could use, and now I have another set of tools that are my business tools. Going into education and continuing to support students in New Mexico, I've learned that there's strengths in both of my tool belts, and I have to be able to learn how to use tools from my business background now and my educational background, and learn how they can work together to really produce great results for students.
I'll give you some example from a principal's perspective. A marketing class. The manner in which I market my school and some of the programs that make it unique have to be very strategic in the manner that we do that. And we also have to take into consideration our various stakeholders as we market our school site. Let's take our finance courses. Typically, you would see us utilizing finances more as a reaction rather than being proactive. And our courses have taught us how to strategically plan and align all of our finances to our goals and vision. And let's talk about negotiations. I mean, all of our administrators should be expected to take our negotiations class, because you're negotiating constantly, whether it be with the community, political members of education, as well as your parents, even your students. And negotiations has taught us that both individuals or group of individuals that are negotiating, there isn't always a winner and a loser, that the best negotiation walks away with the biggest piece of the pie. And so, and I can go on and on about the various classes and how they've assisted us and what each of us do, because we each have a different part or play a different part in the role of education.
Unique things about our program, even in the Woodrow Wilson group, is that our cohort is mixed, so it's not just educators. They're taking courses with regular MBA students who are already in the field of business. That was kind of interesting. We actually felt like both groups learned significantly from each other and really helped to broaden their way of thinking. All the classes are delivered online, so typical MBA courses, they're not modified or watered down in any way for the educators. And then once a month on Saturdays, they meet for sessions that are related specifically to education. So they're making connections from the coursework to what does that look like as a school or district leader.
So I think this is a really cool and innovative program. I think it has really helped to change the way I think about things and look at things. I've absolutely grown and developed as a leader.
I have learned a lot. I've learned a lot about making decisions, and I would say mostly about organizational behavior and how important it is to build on individual strengths and weaknesses from your staff, from your teammates.
As part of their final capstone project, they had to do a project that was a problem presented by school and district leaders, and they had to use all of their MBA skills.
We had various principals and departments come in and give us a focus, give us a problem. The wonderful thing was that they allowed us to select which one we wanted to tackle. So after they had grouped us, we each made a selection. In creating that presentation, we used a wide range of all of our courses.
And I was really amazed. We saw them doing that. We saw them being very purposeful and thinking about using data, all sources of data to analyze the problem. We saw them thinking very strategically about the change process and the implementation process. Like, who do we need to communicate to and when? What types of marketing do we need to do so that everyone fully understands what we're trying to accomplish? What are the metrics that we have to put in place so that we're setting goals and we know whether we're on target or not? These are all things that educators don't typically do, but they were very careful to put all those pieces in place.
The final project really allowed us to apply our learning to an issue, and it's an issue that we work with every day. And the project allowed us to bring a lot of different components together. And I think our project is viable and tenable, and we could actually implement it, and we're going to look into that.
Las Cruces High School had 0% proficient with their English language learners, and that was very concerning to them. And they knew also that they were constrained by resources, didn't have enough teachers to really do a good job with that program. Our fellows went in and did a lot of research about what's working well across the country, and they designed a plan to create a dual language medical pathway at the high school. And the district was thrilled. It sounds like the district is very interested in implementing this program, and partly because all of the details were already thought out for them.
And actually, when we started the project, I thought this would never work in real life. But going through the whole thing and researching and collaborating with the other ladies, I realized that it could happen, and it would be a pretty spectacular thing if it did.
Another problem that the fellows addressed was the district has a Challenger Space Center that they use for a middle school science education. So kids come through and do a simulation of the Challenger mission. So they had to find a way to make that program be able to continue so it could still serve kids but be financially sustainable. They created a plan that changed the mission to not just be the educational experience, but also to be a community resource. The plan recommended moving the center to a 501(c) with a community board of directors.
Yeah, we were so excited about the Challenger project because it's near and dear to my heart. I'm at heart a science teacher, and so is some of the teammates that I worked with, but also because it's part of our community. And really, as principals, we really want our community to be developed more in the area of science education. So we really got excited about it. And the marketing piece, again, comes into play. How can we really, truly make it something that we can leverage in our community to help our kids and also the adults and businesses in the community?
We're just beginning. I feel like the program is growing and refining, becoming better every year. So I look forward to really having these incredible leaders make an impact in their communities.